let me be perfectly honest with you here. I tried to watch the game last night. It was on at midnight, right? That's late for me. I think had it finished at midnight, I might have managed it. But it was going to finish at like quarter to 2 in the morning, something like that. Wow, yeah, that's. I tried. Last thing I remember was last time I remember looking at the clock, I think we were like 28, 29 minutes in. So I didn't get to half time. That's for sure. So you'll have to excuse me. Unfortunately, I think I missed a good bit, right? And I'll watch it later on. Sky are doing a rerun today, I think about 6:30. They've got hour-long highlights, which will probably be enough. So I'm going to go back and watch it. So I can't tell you about Freddie Potts and Preston Fearon, and I'd like to. That's the good stuff. I have seen Jared Bowen's goal, of course, because that's just available just anywhere. You can go and see that. He took that really, really well, didn't he? I have listened to Graham Potter's comments, loved what he was saying about Potts and Fearon. I just love to hear a West Ham manager talking like that about young players. And I wasn't expecting him to come through. I was not expecting Fearon to come through from that particular group of players. It's really Golan Beckis that takes a lot of the attention. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it. We'll watch that later. I saw enough in the 28, 29 minutes that I was awake, though, to voice my concerns. This is very much the negative video. Once I've seen the good stuff, I'll do something on that. Obviously, Areola is going to take the... Sorry, the arcade machine started talking then. He's going to take a lot of the attention, and rightly so, by the way. You can see why we're looking at new goalkeepers. That's for sure. But, and I'll talk about that in a second, but I also wanted to touch on the defence. I wasn't impressed against Grasshoppers with what I saw of Todibo. And I'm still not. But in fact, I'll go with all three of them, actually. Now, I know, right? Well, we can't read too much into it because it's a pre-season friendly. I absolutely get that. But it's slightly different because it's a pre-season friendly against a Premier League team. So can you read anything into Grasshopper? No. But they should be Manchester United a similar way along the fitness road that West Ham are. I am concerned with... I was going to say I'm concerned with Todibo's lack of pace and what would appear to be lack of fitness. Kilman's lack of pace and the way he got completely done by Højlund. What wasn't good, I'm not sure how often we'll have that high line. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I liked what I saw with Todibo on the ball. Taking the ball forward and he's comfortable on the ball. That point, that aspect I do like. But he seems to lack the outright athleticism. And I guess it's a bit of attritional value as well for the defending part of the game. So that part is worrying me. It really is. I guess it's difficult to read too much into Nigel Gers because I've always thought that Nigel Gers would do really well under Graham Potter, and particularly the style of football he likes to play. But it doesn't even look like a Gerd at his best. And he's not going to at the moment. It's pre-season. I absolutely get that. He's going to need to step up and he's going to need to improve, really, because I'm sure I wasn't on my own in this. I was looking at this thinking, I'm not great. It wasn't great. I couldn't help but think, looking at it, if Cresswell was there, and by the way, that would be a really slow defence. I'm not advocating that's what we should do. But if Cresswell was there, I just thought there would be better service going to Diouf, who really does look very exciting. And I want to see more. We also have this issue with the midfield, which I don't particularly want to talk about in any huge depth now because I've not watched the rest of the game. I understand Potts and Fearon looked really good. So, you know, there's obviously other aspects to that to factor in. But look, Guido Rodriguez, I was surprised to see him get the start, really. But we've got 3 games in quite close proximity, so I can't imagine that Rodriguez is going to start Everton or the Bournemouth game. So he didn't use all his subs. Graham Potter there, but I would be very, very surprised to see that mixture, that combination. Obviously, you had Thomas Souček playing a forward pass for Jared Bowen. As I say, finished it absolutely brilliantly. You know, what an amazing player Bowen is. We're really, really blessed to have him. Ward-Prowse, he's got such good energy. He's got really good legs. He really has. But he's got a desire and he's got will to cover every blade of grass. But between the three of them, they're not quick. There's not a quick player in there. So, yes, I wasn't impressed with the midfield and I wasn't particularly impressed with the defence either. Wing-backs, no problem at all. Really, really happy with that. Let's talk about the goalkeeper situation, though, because this is something that's... It's a funny one with goalkeepers. A really, really funny one. Actually, before I go into that, can I please point you in the direction of today's video sponsor, which is Surfshark. You got a VPN? Got a VPN for your phone and your laptop and your computer and all that stuff? Your Fire Stick? Got a VPN? If you haven't, you should do. And if you haven't got one, well, you might as well get Surfshark, because I'm going to give you a discount. Because if you sign up to Surfshark and you use the discount code HammersChat, all one word, or use the link in the description below, which is surfshark.com/HammersChat, then we'll get you 4 months free and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Really, really good deal. I've been using the thing for years. It's just a great it's a great way to protect your internet browsing, to protect your data, but to protect you when you're out on the go, maybe using 5G, maybe using public Wi-Fi, using your banking apps, that sort of thing. You don't want people getting hold of all your stuff. You really, really don't. There's a lot of personal stuff that's on your phone now, and make no mistake about it, unscrupulous people can get that stuff. We are in the realms of the data breach and all that type of business. So protect yourself. Get yourself a VPN. As I say, use Surfshark. The link is in the description below. By the way, you can also change your geolocation. So when you're watching things like the football and all these friendlies, if you've got better access because people overseas, maybe in Spain or maybe in the States or stuff like that, they've got better access than you have just using UK internet. Change your geolocation and you can trick it. Can trick the internet into thinking you're somewhere else. Areola. Look, goalkeeper's a funny one for me because I never paid too much attention to goalkeepers unless they're outstanding or they make absolute howlers. I know Roberto is crap because he couldn't catch. And whenever I see Alisson play for Liverpool, I think he's a really good goalkeeper. Anyway, everyone else is sort of in between. I don't pay too much attention. Apart from when things start to go wrong, so it was quite funny actually, because watching a little bit of the Bournemouth and the Everton. Obviously, Everton lost 3-0 to Bournemouth. And the keeper that Bournemouth got from Chelsea, who we were linked with, I remember I saw him rushing out and blocking a shot. And I thought, oh, okay. Now, I'm heightened. My goalkeeper senses are heightened at the moment because I know we've got a goalkeeper issue. And we got a goalkeeper issue because basically our goalkeeper doesn't really catch. But he's got a reputation as a good shot stopper. We've got the modern game now where you're being asked to do more stuff with your feet, and particularly with the manager that we've got now, Graham Potter, we want more possession in and around the back. So it's highlighting another deficiency in Areola's game that probably wasn't highlighted before because we weren't doing it that much under previous managers. Now it is, and so now you're seeing, well, actually, now we've got a problem because we've got a goalkeeper that can't kick, can't catch, but he can do the shot-stopping part. When you're going to start making mistakes, though, and we were seeing mistakes last season, you're going to double up on them because you're going to get mistakes like you got with the second goal for Manchester United where he just passes the ball to the wrong person because he can't pass. I don't overly blame him for that. It's not in his skill set. We just got the wrong type of goalkeeper. And let's be fair, Potter's completely overhauled the goalkeeping department in terms of the coaching and all that type of stuff. So clearly wants to go in a different direction. He wants to do something differently. When you're going to be making individual errors in terms of what you're doing with your hands, I mean, it seemed to me for that first goal, he didn't communicate with Diouf. Now, you could probably say, well, hold on a second, maybe that's something that would develop. They're both French-speaking. I just think it comes to a point where there's so many mistakes. You've got to look to do something different. And I totally understand why West Ham now are on the lookout for a new goalkeeper. I really, really do. He sort of fumbled it they got in each other's way, but I would blame Areola far more than Diouf, because it was a double mistake. So the ball then, he sort of dropped it and it sort of ricocheted off Diouf, landed at the Manchester United player's feet, and then it was just so clumsy. He obviously conceded a penalty because he pretty much hacked him down. He was never gonna get that, and he just should have. There should have been an easy claim. It should have been an easy catch, that first ball, and then he goes and makes the other mistake again. From what I saw, for all the reasons I said, West Ham, in the small time I was watching the game, didn't look particularly impressive in midfield and in defence anyway. But we still gifted Man United both their goals. So you've got to cut that stuff out. If Potter's going to play this way, and he is, and he's going to want to keep possession and keep more possession than the opposition, then any time you gift them the balls, you're just bringing trouble upon yourselves, really, aren't you? So look, I don't know whether I'd want to talk about Potter on this, because it's quite clear. He knows this is going to be no news to him. He will already know that he has to sort that goalkeeping situation out. I just think sometimes you just come to a point where you think someone's just run there. He's run his course. He's done his time at West Ham. I think as an understudy, as a number two, not one of those number twos, as a number two, he's perfectly adequate, absolutely adequate. In fact, he'd be good. He's a good guy that you would have in your squad. But is he really going to want to do that? He spent enough time playing understudy to Lucas Fabianski. He's on big wages. I don't know what he's on, but he's on big. I'd suggest Areola's on somewhere between 70 and 100 grand a week. We've signed him from Paris Saint-Germain, for goodness sake. So, yeah, I can't imagine he'd want to do that too much. Definitely something we want to look into. And as I say, I don't particularly get excited about goalkeepers. And when I like my transfer rumours. I like all that sort of stuff. And when we're linked with a player, if it's a goalkeeper, I think, I'd much rather be linked with a striker, not that one, or a midfielder, or someone exciting. And but I think now, if I heard we were close to doing a deal for the Leicester goalkeeper, for instance, I'd be excited about it. Again, I couldn't tell you too much about him because I just don't know. As I say, I don't spend that much time noticing those type of players. But you know what? If he's as good a shot stopper and he can catch the ball and he's better with the ball at his feet, which I read he is, brilliant. Let's do it. Let's do it. And apparently our goalkeeper coach has worked with him before as well, in Denmark. So, hey, brilliant. Let's do that. I'm going to watch the game later on, and we'll talk about Preddy Foss. Preddy Foss. He's good, isn't he? And Preston Fearon. Preddy Foss. Yeah. Anyway, you get the idea, don't you? We'll talk about both of those later. I'm tired. I stayed. This is the trouble. I got the worst of both worlds. Not only did I try, so by me trying to stay up late and failing, I didn't see the game, and I'm still knackered today, which is why I guess I'm saying things like Preddy Foss.